Hi students, sorry I wasn't able to be with you today to talk about the different roles in the role sheets, but we'll just do it this way for video. So the first thing you need to do is pull out this document, the Lit Circle role sign up sheet, and identify what your role is going to be for section 1. And always please pause this video if I'm going too fast. So pause it and pull out your sheet, please. So we're going to go through the roles in order, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And number 4 has an option A, which is presented here, and an option B, which we'll get to in a moment, and you'll choose between them. So the first the first role is the discussion director. And so the discussion director, your job is to develop a list of questions your group might discuss while in groups discussing your book, okay? Think about the big picture. What are some things that you would want to ask your group members? What do you want to focus on, okay? So you will jot down 5 questions that you will present your group with. Here are some tips. Remember, they should be tier 2 and tier 3 questions. A tier 1 question is like a quiz, like point to the book and find the answer. We don't want those, okay? Tier 2 question is like, what do you think about this? And, consider this event in the novel. Why do you think the character did this, okay? And remember, tier 3 is like, what would you do if you were in the situation? It's outside of the book. Okay, so please tier 2 and tier 3 questions only. No tier 1 questions. This is a discussion, it's not a quiz, okay? And down below here are further tips on things to consider. So role number 1 is a discussion director. Another person in your group would be role number 2, the word wizard. And the word wizard's job is to think about writing as a craft. Okay, an author spends a lot of time crafting a text, and we want to be analyzing the words that they use. Okay, so this person, a word wizard, would maybe jot down words that are interesting or puzzling while you're reading, and then at the end you're going to select 5. Just like the discussion director had 5 questions, the word wizard will have 5 words. And then you will fill out the table, what the word is, the page number and the paragraph. You don't need to write down the whole sentence, just identify the page number and paragraph number. Find the definition for it on dictionary.com, and then find one synonym, words with the same meaning, and one antonym, words with opposite meanings, to help explain or make a connection for the word for your group partners. Okay, so word wizard is role number 2. Another person will have role number 3, the literary luminary. Now this person is identifying specific sections or quotes for your group to discuss. It could be as small as, one small paragraph, but it could be as large as a whole dialogue that went back and forth that you want to discuss. It's up to you, okay? And so again, you'll identify the page number and the paragraph's number. You will not copy down the entire thing. You simply need to help everybody else locate it. Then explain why you selected this this piece from the text, okay? Why it grabbed your attention. And then finally, when you present a section of text to the group, you don't want to just read it and say, hey, I thought this was important. Look here on page number and paragraph number. You want to present it as a way that fosters discussion. Remember, this is all about discussion in your groups. So how are you going to present it? What questions are you going to ask your group members? All right, and that's what goes in the 3rd column. How are you going to introduce this section? Okay? So literary luminary, and you are looking for 5 different sections of text. What were 5 important things in the book? Okay? And finally, the last one is role number 4. And like I said, there's an option A and an option B. Option A is an illustrator. And so for the illustrator, you're drawing some kind of picture related to the reading. A sketch, a cartoon, a diagram, a flow chart. It even could be a stick figure scene. Draw a picture of something that happened, something it reminded you of, a picture that conveys a feeling or an emotion that came from the book. It can be very concrete as far as an event, or it might be something less concrete and more whimsical that you've thought about while you were reading, okay? The most important thing is that you do your illustration on the back of this sheet or another blank sheet. Please do not do it on a lined sheet of paper. And you're not being assessed on your level of artistic technique, okay? You're being assessed for trying your best and illustrating a key important piece from the passage. You can use images, you can use words, you're welcome to be as creative as you'd like, okay? Now, if the thought of having to draw something makes you recoil, option B is a researcher. And this is not a research paper, research project. This is to research one small aspect of the novel that actually interests you. What could be like the geography, weather, culture, history of the book setting, information related to the time period, history of the area. What do the names mean of the characters? Why did the author pick that name? Most character names have a really deep meaning. That could be something you look for. If your character is based on something historical, you could research that. Okay? So you got simply fill out this table. What was your topic? Why did you select it? What did you discover? Make sure you don't just copy from something. Put this on your own words. And then what resources did you use? Okay? So that's option B. All right, so those are the 4 roles. Each person will have one role and you will complete one sheet, okay? And you will need to select them by when you come to class for block 2. So if you are in period 1 or 2, you will be discussing on the second date listed here. If you are in period 6, you will be discussing on the first date located here, okay, based on how our schedule falls. So to reiterate, when you come to class for Lit Circles, we're not going through and simply reading the information on our sheet. That's like a Lit Circle reading, not a Lit Circle discussion. The discussion should be about things that actually were interesting to you in your book. And the questions and the words and the sections that you point out and the illustrations or the research should be what we use to help further that discussion, okay? The discussion is the most important piece. However, in order to discuss, you must A, read. You must come to class having read everything. And B, you must have finished your roll sheet. If your roll sheet is not completed, you will not be participating in your group's discussion. You will be finishing that roll sheet, which will cause you to lose points. Okay? So make sure you read and make sure you fill out your roll sheet. If you have any questions, please come see me.